That was a little sloppy. I think my timing is down slower and slower. So I'm gonna pick up another intro and we'll come right back. Welcome to Knowledge is Power Podcast Live with your host, Tony Redford, and my co-hosts, LaDonna Sherwood and Francis Lawkins.
Knowledge is Power Podcast Live starts now.
Live again, and hey, hello everyone.
That intro be grooving, bro.
Yeah.
I'm over here dancing too. You can't see me, but I was.
Man. Yeah, you was grooving to the old beat. Man, I am
I feel like,
yeah. Hey, I tell you what, we're gonna have tonight. We're gonna talk about some things that happened over the week. Where y'all thought it was dead. Y'all thought it was swept under the rug.
y'all thought it was swept to the side.
No.
If I could be frank, if it was in the hands of and I don't care who I offend right now, if it was incumbent to be in the hands of our local Beaumont attorneys, it would definitely be swept up.
Well, we're gonna have that subject next month. I mean, we're gonna talk about that next month. I'm gonna be able to talk about that. But tonight, we want to talk about some serious allegation that has happened here in the city of Beaumont. And on Thursday, there was a press conference at the steps of the federal courthouse about the brutality that was.
Wait, you can't say that.
Well, I can't say that.
You got to say the allegation.
The allegation. Okay, yeah, the allegation of Christopher Shaw. Yeah, so for people that don't know what's going on here, we're going to let Chris tell you.
I wish LaDonna was on. I promise.
Don't be long now. Just tell them what we are discussing. I want everyone to get it. Wait a minute, but I want everybody to get involved.
I would definitely do our classmates some justice.
Right.
A year ago, I want to say this was before the election, y'all. Before Bob Wortham had resigned. So go back. It's not that far, but we need to go back to then. Where
hey Chris, hurry up because I've got Dr. Candace.
Oh, look at it! Hey man,
she's in New Orleans. She was at the convention up in Dallas this weekend. Now she's in New Orleans. We only got a quick few minutes with her because she's also representing Christopher Shaw.
Correct. So I'm gonna let her speak. I'm gonna let you speak. Dr. Matthews, if you don't mind, lace us up on the previous and bring us into the current with Christopher Shaw, if you don't mind.
Okay, so clearly, let me just say this: not represent Christopher. I'm not.
Right. We're not. Right. You're right.
Would be attorney Harry.
Wait, Candace. Hold on, Candace.
Candace, you're breaking up.
You're breaking up.
Wait a minute, let me.
And I don't want Tony to talk about your internet. And I know that's not.
She's in a hotel somewhere.
Wait a minute, hold on. How is this?
All right,
it's getting better. It's getting better.
Okay.
Better.
So basically, what's going on that Christopher Shaw is being represented by attorney Harry Daniels and his team. And we pretty much are doing the activism portion of it. And so what we have is police brutality that was done in plain sight based upon a young man was there on was taken in misdemeanor for a public intoxication. So how did it jump from public intoxication to all of a sudden it's paralyzed and to add from the history? You had
a charge, assault a peace officer.
Yeah, like how can you assault a peace officer when they turn around, handcuff, dropped on your head. That's
You're breaking up. We really want to hear what you said, but we can't hear you.
I could read lips. I promise to God, the military training. I want to thank God for the military training that I have because I can read lips extremely well.
Hold on. Let me get over here because I got something to say. Let me get over here.
No, please.
I was about to say, Candace, you on their guest? Are you on their guest Wi-Fi?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Can y'all hear me now?
No, that's better.
Better.
Okay. So please forgive me. I'm in New Orleans right now. I'm here for a conference, but I got something to say. Basically, what we're dealing with, we have a young man that was arrested on a misdemeanor charge due to public intoxication. And then, so how did it jump from you being arrested to you being paralyzed? And then you're being charged and indicted for assault and peace officer. Last I checked, they assaulted you. Last I checked, this man was paralyzed and he was thrown on top of his head while handcuffed. Then he lay in that jail in his own feet and urine for over 8 hours. How does that happen?
18 hours.
18 hours. While asking for help, is my understanding.
Right. He was asking not only the medical team that's contracted with Jefferson County for assistance, but he was also letting, the other correction officers know that, hey, it's something going on and something not right. And one of the attorneys mentioned in the press release that we did the other day, press conference that we did the other Thursday, that he also, told the medical team that, I'm about to die. And that's when they finally kicked into gear to do what they are supposed to do in the first place.
And 18 hours later, the officer whose body slammed him went with him?
18 hours
This
later.
man was laying in his own feces and urine, and he was just like a flimsy, lifeless, just flimsy.
Yes.
What is the accusation as far as what he did to that officer? I mean, what justifies a broken neck? What is this?
Well, the officer...
He paralyzed. What justifies
right.
it?
No,
right.
I mean, nothing justifies it, but I mean, we can't have the video. We don't know anything.
But
well,
see,
no.
The purpose. Let me explain this.
Go
this
ahead.
Is the purpose why his attorneys have filed a federal lawsuit, because Jefferson County Sheriff did not want to release the video. The Attorney General did not want to release the video.
And the Beaumont police chief. Yep.
So now that a federal lawsuit has already been filed, so that means that video's gonna come out. And that video, now keep in mind, the civil rights attorneys have already seen the video. So they already know what's on the video. So that means that it's gonna turn into put it this way, that press conference that we did on Thursday, everybody in the nation know about Beaumont, Texas.
Yeah, it's in Canada too.
Right. Everybody's gonna know, and then it's gonna create like a George Floyd situation. And I ran into some people at the Democratic convention yesterday, and I told them, I said, you better tell your police area, you better be looking for another for because
okay, she's breaking up.
Ooh, I wish y'all could read lips. Okay, so what she said was, go ahead and tell your police chief Singletary, look for another job because we're coming for him.
Right.
But I think, me personally, Candace, that he's probably escaped the goat by the hair on his teeth, and no disrespect, but again, all disrespect because you playing in our face, Chief.
That man said he stood by his officer's actions. He should go.
I say that because you're in the process, and I hear it on every facet. You're in the process of retiring, and you're going to retire and leave this just as the exiting mayor did leave this particular situation for the next incoming individual. And that is not cool. That's not cool.
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all like this here, and y'all can tell them I said it because I don't care. You gonna be looking for another job when we get through with you, sir. Because at the end of the day, that should not have happened to nobody, regardless what color they are.
Especially
that is
for
brutality. But see, that's what happens when you have ignorance and authority together. That's what you get.
especially for our police chief to say, and as well as our exiting district attorney Bob Wortham, said that I stand by the officers. That's the reason why every African American, I will say almost every African American in the city of Beaumont can say that they have endured some type of injustice with Beaumont police officers, because the head says whatever you do, whether it's ethical or unethical or against the law, it doesn't matter, because the citizens of Beaumont gonna pay for your atrocity.
But you know,
This lawsuit is gonna come out of our pocket, and I'm talking about ours as the citizens of Beaumont. And I'm not talking about no light lawsuit. This got some weight on it. I'm talking about some weight on it.
Well, you know what? I'm just gonna say this here. When you go along with ignorance and authority, it makes you complicit. And that's just what that is. So that's why I said what I said about that chief police, and y'all can tell him what I said too. And I come to Beaumont.
Come on, somebody, one of them watching.
We don't have to tell him he's watching.
One of them watching, Candace, I promise. They scope this show.
It didn't got all of these, the civil rights leaders all know about what's going on. They all know. And we just waiting on this video to come out, and they all coming to Beaumont, and we gonna shut down the highways. We shutting everything down. It's gonna be part 2 of Jasper, Texas.
So let me ask you this.
Everybody coming.
Well, let me ask you this, Candace. What is taking so long for the video to come out?
Well, see, what was happening was that they were actually stalling. Okay, so that made Christopher Shaw's attorneys to file that federal lawsuit. So now that federal lawsuit has been filed, that video coming up. Matter of fact, that video should be out real soon.
I want to say, I hope to.
Yeah, it's coming out.
So let me let everyone catch up what we're talking about. We're talking about the Paralyzed, the allegation of Christopher Shaw, a black African American man that was arrested here.
42 years old.
42 years old, arrested here in Beaumont for intoxication.
Westbrook graduate.
He was a Westbrook graduate. He was handcuffed and brought to the county jailhouse. The officer in charge brutally threw the Christopher Shaw. It slammed him in the jail on his head.
On his head. Wow. While there were county correction officers around him. While there were county correction officers that had him detained and under control.
Right.
This police officer reasserted himself into a situation that he was not even called for.
Right.
Especially in the jurisdiction of Jefferson County.
Well, I'm going to put it to you like this. Accountability and transparency is about to get ready to come out. So when that video dropped, when I tell y'all, TMZ picked up this story.
Yes, they did.
MSNBC, the New York Post.
Yes, they did.
It has been all over. And these civil rights attorneys that Christopher Shaw have are renowned civil attorneys.
Very renowned.
They do not play.
Correct.
They in the mix. They like in the same caliber of Ben Crump. They don't play. Correct. And they all know each other. They do not play. And I'm telling you now, when the press release was sent out, and I'm looking at the stuff, I'm like, oh my God, like this. Like, I had people call me from California telling me about what's going on in this Beaumont, Texas, this Christopher Shaw person. I'm like, oh, so you seen it too? And it was only 2 cameras that was at that press conference, but everything was fed. It had like they was pretty much the feeder cameras. That's
Right.
what it was.
I
Even had the news stations in Houston.
It was fed to me, and I shared it. Yeah.
Hey, look at that. I even had the news team I be dealing with in Houston. They wanted the footage, and they end up getting the footage from CNN. Right. So I'm telling you that it's gonna hit the fan.
Well, we appreciate.
PD and Jefferson County Sheriffs is in trouble.
And the district attorney.
And the DA. All the whole little thing. Watch everybody gonna start snitching on each other. Watch. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Candace, we appreciate you. And when you get back off your trip, let's get together, okay? And by the way, Dr. Candace Matthews is a relative of mine.
Hey y'all. I love y'all.
We're all from Big Jamestown. All right, babe. Take care.
Bye.
So, all right, babe. Bye-bye. So what I'm saying here tonight is we want you who are listening or watching, we want you to chime in, and we want your questions, and we'll give you the answers about what is going on here. And I see some already hit the chart.
And not only that, Tony, not only that, I definitely want to point out during this press conference that we had with Christopher Shaw and his attorneys and Candace, who is the representative of the Rainbow Push Coalition, founder Jesse Jackson. They mentioned all of their contact information. If you check my video, if you check the video that I shot from the Neighborhood Association's page, the South End Charlton Pollard's page, they have their contact information, and they intentionally gave out their contact information because they know that Christopher Shaw is not the only individual that had to undergo some type of situation like this with Beaumont Police Department. Mind you, Christopher Shaw was at the brink of death, and there are several others who scathed it by the skin of their teeth and are afraid to speak out against Beaumont Police Department because they as an individual may have a previous charge that they have already served their time, but they use that against them because most of us don't know that you can't take me back to jail for the same shit that you took me back to jail for initially. Although some of us know it, but we still are intimidated because we got this hue about us, and we're extremely scared for, if not our lives, for the lives of our loved ones. So they gave their entire contact information to reach out to them if you are a victim yourself, especially a victim to Beaumont Police Department, right, a victim to Port Arthur Police Department, a victim of Orange Police Department, a victim of Vidor Police Department, or a victim of any proportion. I will not lie. They gave me the authority to tell y'all to call them, especially being that we don't have that same type of representation right here in Beaumont, Texas.
Now, that's awesome. But we are going to keep this alive because they thought everyone thought it was swept underneath the rug, but it was still going on. And we have to be aware of what's going on because it's not the first time this happened.
Correct.
This is not the first time.
And it's not the only thing going on either. This is disgusting in many ways.
Before you go there, Trish, let me just go to the comments. And Helen Roach is saying that's the very same thing that happened in the 70s. And actually, he sure did.
Wow.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly
the same thing. Timothy Martin said this really got to put Beaumont Police Department on Front Street. Oh, yeah, it's going to do that. And David Smith said, I hope Christopher gets better and heals from this. And we all do.
I hope I heal. I hope our community heals from this, sir.
Right.
And the reason I say that, Mr. Smith, is because there are several residents who just so happen to have a hue, and it's not. I will say it's not all black people. It are African Americans. It's not all of us. But if you have a hue, even some of our Iranian or West Asian representatives, and if you from India, you from Asia, that's the continent is Asia. If you are Japanese, you from Asia, that's the continent is Asia. So welcome to the United States of America, North America. But there are several other individuals. I'm not going to say minorities because I don't consider nobody to be a minority, especially if you are of a human descent. So with that being said, there are several others, business owners. It does not matter the class or status for your hue. If you are hued, there is a video, and I want to put this out, Tony. If you have any access to the person and or the video of the individual that recorded that Beaumont police officer saying you don't have no rights anyway. I need that. We need that. We need that. We need that. We
Yes,
need
we
that.
do. Yes,
so
we
if
do.
you have that information, please send that to us as well.
Well,
But yes, Mr. Smith, I hope we can heal.
yes, we
I
sure
hope
do.
we can heal. I really do hope we can heal, because you have to understand that this wound is not just with Christopher Shaw. We just saw the situation with Boy Brown. That's a scab. Here it is. We're just now recovering it out of the surgery room with George Floyd. I'm just saying, how many? Yeah.
Well,
I hope
Trish,
we can heal. I hope
Trish, I'm gonna pass it on to you now, love.
Oh, I can't believe what's going on. We have a gentleman who caused a 7-car pileup here in Beaumont. Vehicles destroyed. Many people could have died. Luckily, nobody did, but many people could have. A complete danger to the community, and he hasn't even got a warrant for his arrest. Yet we have Mr. Shaw sitting in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, looking at 20 years in prison for possibly kicking at a cop's leg. Are you kidding me? Do better, Beaumont.
Allegedly. If you toss my body, Tricia, and you know I probably weigh a little bit more than you, but if you toss my body, guess what's gonna fling about? My freaking extremity. You talking about flinging me like a rag doll and my leg kicking you? And
Yeah.
you
Well, my
one,
hands
you
are
had
behind my back.
bruises or anything to show for your claims of assault to a peace officer.
You won't even show the video. Yeah. But the man who just caused a 7-car pileup, who had a BAC of 0.321, he's not even there's no warrant.
Well,
But we've got Christopher Shaw sitting looking at 20. Are you kidding me?
I almost said something, Tricia.
That man has $1 billion, so he's not really worried about
His $1 billion should go to the victims of his accident while he was driving drunk like a jerk through the city of Beaumont.
A well-to-do individual of Beaumont.
Oh, wait a minute. Time out. I missed this. I mean,
he's really from Nacogdoches.
okay, I must have went to sleep on this. When did this happen?
This was a couple of weeks ago. Was the accident? It's
What
just now
accident
coming to light.
On
Dowling
Gladys.
and Gladys.
Is that the accident that happened on Gladys and
Yes.
Darling?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I saw one of the vehicles, and people are so lucky to be alive.
I can't even imagine having a 7-car pileup.
He gonna
at the
pay all
intersection of
He gonna
Gladys
pay all
and
them people
Darling.
off.
And he took out a couple of things on his way
He
too
gonna
down.
pay him or the insurance gonna pay him.
Oh, he gonna pay them off, and it's gonna go away. So
But why
gonna
wasn't
go
he
away.
not? Why wasn't he at least
he's
arrested?
rich.
He's got money,
Rich.
and he's got connections.
If I could interject just a second to say
didn't
why
go.
he was not arrested, I'm gonna say it again. Like a cousin of mine was murdered, vehicular homicide at Plummer and what's that? 90? Yeah, Plummer and 90 on the way to the American Legion that's over there. Okay, so the guy that hit him, no brakes applied. He didn't have his light, he didn't have his street light, his vehicle lights on. Mind you, it's dark time. Seemed like every alumni of Central was at the Knights Hall that's on college. I almost said their name and I don't want to say it. So the individual that killed him went through Jefferson County courts and was given some particular mandates. But mind y'all, before he even went to court, Beaumont Police Department allowed this gentleman to leave the scene without a sobriety test. This man was allowed to leave the scene after a murder.
And that's the other part of this.
Homicide, that was a murder.
We have police officers who paralyzed.
The other individual that was in the car with him was black. Mind you, the driver of the vehicle was white. The white guy was allowed to leave the scene. The black guy had to stay there until, for what I don't know.
Trish, what you're saying, sweetheart?
We have these police officers who paralyzed Mr. Shaw, still working today. They're still doing their normal thing. Meanwhile, we have police officers that I happen to think I know which ones they are. They haven't said their names yet, but I know which ones they are.
Oh, yeah,
they're going to walk off the job. So we're going to lose the good ones and let the bad ones continue to do the streets. Are you kidding me?
I'm trying to tell you.
And we got a council who's doing nothing. They haven't said a word. No one's flinching.
And
bullshit.
Mind you, council has been made privy to this video. I'm glad you said that, Trisha. Council has been made privy to this video. Council was made privy to this video a year ago. And that's the exiting council and the right now council have been made privy to that video.
And they don't say anything, nothing. They're just sitting there.
They can't, because let me tell you why they can't. There is a gag order on every member of council. They cannot say
well, there are several issues that they're not addressing. And I for one, if you're going to sit there and stay idle like that, find another seat to do it in.
Okay. In particular with this case, they can't say nothing. And the reason, one of the things that Candace, while she was on, didn't mention is the reason they say they didn't release the video at that particular time is because they didn't want to create chaos in the prison system, and they didn't want to create chaos on the civilian side. Because again, if y'all think back a year ago, it was a bunch of shit on fire. It just wasn't on fire here in Beaumont. We rallied for other individuals and didn't know that that's knocking the same shit is at your door.
This is not going to go away. I can't say this. This is not going to go away. So this
is going to be bad, y'all.
Right, it's going to be real bad. It's going to be real bad.
It's going to be bad. Probably within the next month.
Yes.
I wouldn't even give it that long.
The story's already in Canada already. I've seen it. It's all over the place.
I wouldn't even give it that long. And I just hope that we as residents of Beaumont can not only corral ourselves, but corral others that will come to the city and, willing to advocate.
And we have to rally behind them,
Correct. We got to rally with those individuals. Right. You got to rally with Christopher Shaw. Right. And like you said, Knowledge is Power podcast has been on this story since it came out. Especially with the expressions from LaDonna Sherwood, who co-hosted this podcast, as well as me being, engaged and involved with insight. But there's a lot of things that, like Tony said, we went months without talking about this. This is just the surface to the injustice that African Americans, Black, and
I hope those who listen. I hope our community is listening and paying attention, because again, this is not going to go away, and we want you to support and rally behind Christopher Shaw and his lawsuit against the city of Beaumont and his family. So we're going to move on. We chewed on that rag a little bit. We're going to move on to topic number 3, and that is Trish. We're talking about the consultants for the anti-directional flushing. Tell us about that a little bit. We can chew on that for a few minutes and go on.
One of the findings in the consultant's report was that there's no urinary directional flushing going on. The type of directional flushing that we need is there's nothing on paper, there's nothing planned, it's got to be developed. For 2 years, they have been telling us it's in the works. And we're going to start at any time now. And then last November, it turned into we're waiting for the consultants. And now it's we don't have one at all. They've looked directly, and by they, I'm talking about Mike Harris and Bart and that group of people. They've looked directly at our council and lied during council meetings. They've looked at us directly and lied straight to our faces. They've disrespected all of us, and no one's doing anything. We're pushing water back and forth between these hydrants, and it's just making the problem worse. They admit that. At some point, somebody's going to have to do something, or we're just going to have to accept the fact that we have brown water. And it can't be just a group of us here screaming about it. Everybody has to start getting involved.
Terry, you want to chime in on that?
No, I hadn't really looked at all that reports yet. I'm still looking over it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have too much to say about it, but that's not going to end good either. So
yeah,
we have them telling us that the brown water is from manganese and iron, but where did they get that information from? Because they don't even know what unidirectional flushing is. So how do they know about that?
So like one of the reasons that's why they keep, that's their excuse or their explanation or the reason for us having brown water is because the professional that they fired and drug through the mud a few years back told me that that's the reason why you see a lot of brown water leaks and this, that, and the other, is caught in the this and that. So the city management don't know why we got brown water.
Right, exactly.
As many tests, studies, consultings, and
here's some other information about our tests.
To resolve that issue until you actually replace all of the old piping throughout the city.
Infrastructure.
And here's the thing about our tests. We can't trust those either because the same guy who runs our water plant performs our tests. There's no third party.
I was about to say that.
Job security galore.
I was going to ask you. I wasn't going to say it. I was going to ask you. So who is this that's doing the test?
Daniel, and oh boy, his last name. Terry, do you know his last name?
I can't think of his last name, but I know who you're talking about.
Who employs him?
The city
of Beaumont.
Oh, so this is not an outside entity. This is an interior audit.
We have no outside entity testing anything.
Okay, so I will say I'm glad that we finally decided to use our inside professionals, especially when it comes to resolving city issues. But is that individual, is Mr. what's his name?
Daniel. I gotta look it up.
Daniel trained and certified.
Well, we talked.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if he's certified because
it means a lot.
The test results are not reliable.
No, let me tell you something. The reason I asked if Mr. Daniel was certified because in order to work at the city's water treatment or department, you must be certified.
Oh, he's got a license.
That's state, that's federal, and EPA. You must be certified.
Right, and he does. So he has a license.
All of the people that left the city water department a time ago, have they trained and recertified any of those individuals?
Well, I mean, we had to pay $70,000 to a consultant to tell us to clean our tanks. So, licensed or not, I mean, there's that. He is licensed. He does have a license from TCEQ in the state. But
I will say this, being that this individual and all individuals that work for the water department of the city of Beaumont, they're setting the city up for a lawsuit.
It's been brought up several times.
I'm saying, I mean a hefty one, because again, you have people that cannot identify where their illnesses are coming from. And you have people that have, side effects to certain things, and the overall reason is unidentified.
It's
But
really bad.
everybody in this city either bathes in water in this water, and I'm talking about submerged in this water, or you shower in this water. And not just the color, but the chemical makeup of this water is contrary to human sustainment. Period.
Now, let me just say this. If those who are listening and watching are sharing our program, please, if you are interested in joining us as a guest and has a topic that needs to be out there, we want you to jump on in and contact us and let us know that we want you on.
Man,
for you.
Man, yeah. I'm gonna share that. I'm gonna share that story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let everybody know. Hey, you want to be on Knowledge is Power podcast?
Yeah, we want more guests. And we want to expose you. We want to expose your business and what are you doing? We want to do it all for you.
Right.
But right now, we're going to wrap it up. I know it's a little short show, but we talked about what we want to talk about. We're going to keep talking about it until we see some results.
Some resolve.
Yeah.
So I think the bottom line is that we're going to have to get more people involved because, as a city, it's been neglected. And a lot of us are sitting back, just kind of just letting it be.
Taking it.
And just taking it, and as hard as we all try this on here, we need about 25,000 more of us.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will say this. Yes, we need at least 25,000 more bodies.
Not really voices, but bodies.
I was about to say, if you agree with myself, Terry, Tony, Perry, Tricia, if you agree with us, LaDonna, Francis, if you agree with us, especially on this podcast, if you agree with us, all you got to do is show up with us.
That's it. Show up.
That's it. Show up with us.
Yes.
Especially if we go to city council, especially if we address our county commissioners, especially when we go to Austin, especially when we go to DC, because we're going to DC.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to ask nobody to produce more gasoline and don't live by it. I live by it.
Thank you, Bolden Jones Sr. Thank you for the comments. I mean, we appreciate you. Thanks. So, guys, next Sunday, we're going to have a guest next Sunday. She is now the first Black female city attorney for the city of Beaumont, Cherie Reed, that she's going to be joining us next Sunday at 8 o'clock. So, with that, we're going to close out tonight.
Before we close,
yes,
please, I ask that everybody govern themselves accordingly, even though the city health department has not really put out COVID numbers or COVID deaths. I want you guys to know that those numbers are extremely high, and there is a new variant that is that's out, and it's not like what we were experiencing in the past. So I would ask again to govern yourselves accordingly. When you're out in public, wear a mask. If you are not feeling well and it feels strange, not like if you had COVID before, do not expect the same symptoms. And it has been said that these symptoms you are almost invisible. So I'll just say, please govern ourselves accordingly, especially, in the heat. We have uncertainties when it comes to our power, especially here in the state of Texas. We also have uncertainties when it comes to the weather. It's been raining off and on, and the weather said there's no rain. But so I definitely want people to just be safe and govern yourselves accordingly with this COVID strain.
We thank everybody for watching and listening. Hope to see you next Sunday for our brand new show as we go. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you guys. And we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching Knowledge is Power Podcast Live. Be sure to like and subscribe to all Knowledge is Power social media pages.